My name is Rebecca, and I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Outwardly, my life seemed to be perfectly arranged: a flourishing career as a graphic designer, a loving husband, and two beautiful children who filled our home with laughter. I wore a smile that appeared unbreakable, yet deep within me lay a secret burden I had carried for many years, one I never expected to reveal. Today, I want to share that experience with you, for it reshaped my understanding of life, sin, and redemption in ways I could never have imagined. It was a night like any other, after a long, demanding day at work. I lay in bed, exhausted beyond measure, and initially I dismissed the fatigue as nothing more than the result of a hectic schedule. But as I drifted into a restless sleep, something extraordinary occurred. Suddenly, the world around me vanished into darkness, and it felt as though my very soul was being pulled away from my body. Despite my desperate attempts to fight it, I was powerless. In that moment, I believed I was approaching the end. Then, in the midst of that overwhelming void, I found myself standing in the presence of Him, the one I had prayed to countless times, yet whose true depth of love and power I had never fully comprehended. His presence was at once both awe-inspiring and deeply intimate. As I looked into His eyes, I felt as though He could see every hidden thought, every secret desire, and every unspoken worry that I had long kept locked away in the recesses of my heart. I had expected comfort, a gentle reassurance that everything would be all right. Instead, He began to guide me on an unexpected journey through the timeline of my life. Before my eyes, moments and memories unfolded like pages in a book, each decision and every fleeting thought replayed with vivid clarity. At first, I witnessed scenes of joy and love, the laughter of my children, the tender moments shared with my husband, the creative spark that drove my passion for design. Yet, amid these cherished memories, He paused on a recurring sin I had long dismissed as a minor personal indulgence, a flaw I believed was harmless, something I could easily control and keep hidden. This sin, which I had always regarded as a private misstep, was revealed to be far more insidious than I had ever imagined. With a sorrowful tenderness, He showed me how each time I had given in, I was not simply engaging in a fleeting act of weakness. I was gradually erecting a barrier between us. What I had thought was a solitary, inconsequential lapse had, over time, become a chain, one that constricted my heart and distanced me from the intimacy I was meant to share with Him. I saw clearly how, with every indulgence, those chains grew tighter, gradually eroding the spiritual connection that once brought me profound peace and fulfillment. It was not merely a matter of physical temptation. It was a spiritual surrender that allowed negativity to take root in my soul. Unbeknownst to me, this recurring habit had become a foothold for the enemy, opening the door for further attacks on my spirit. Each moment of justification, that little inner voice assuring me it was no big deal, was actually another link in the chain that bound me more securely to a life of isolation from His grace. Then came the part of the vision that shattered me and yet filled me with hope. With unwavering gentleness, He explained how the adversary had exploited my hidden sin, using it as a basis to challenge the sincerity of my devotion. It was as if the enemy had built a legal case against me in the spiritual realm, pointing to this pattern of behavior as evidence that I had misplaced my priorities. The accusation was simple, yet devastating. How could I claim to love Him wholeheartedly while clinging to something that created a barrier between us? The realization hit me hard, and I was overwhelmed by a deep sense of shame and remorse. I had no defense against this truth, no argument to counter the stark evidence of my own failing. Even in that moment of piercing conviction, when every ounce of my spirit was burdened with guilt, He did not turn away. Rather than condemning me or leaving me to wallow in self-reproach, He looked upon me with a love so profound it took my breath away. His voice, both firm and tender, resonated within me as he said, "You do not have to live bound by these chains any longer. My grace is more powerful than any sin, and my forgiveness is available to you." In that single soul-stirring declaration, I felt the weight of years of hidden transgressions begin to lift. As his words washed over me, it was as if a tidal wave of grace had swept away the remnants of my past mistakes. I felt the heavy chains that had once wrapped tightly around my heart start to crumble and fall away, link by painful link. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I experienced a sense of liberation, a lightness that signified not just an escape from sin, but a profound rebirth into a life of genuine freedom. In the days and months that followed that transformative night, my perspective on life began to shift in ways I could scarcely have imagined. I came to understand that redemption is not about erasing our past mistakes. It is about learning from them and moving forward with humility and renewed purpose. Every day became an opportunity to dismantle the spiritual barriers I had built, to allow the love and grace of my Savior to fill the empty spaces within me. Though the journey was not without its challenges, old habits and doubts occasionally resurfaced, I held steadfastly to the memory of that divine encounter, reminding myself that every setback was merely a prelude to a greater comeback. I share my story today not to dwell on past failures, but to illuminate the transformative power of unconditional love and forgiveness. If you have ever felt trapped by your own mistakes, burdened by a secret guilt, or isolated by shame, please know that you are not alone. The same hands that lifted me up are reaching out to you, offering the gift of freedom and healing. No sin is too small or too hidden to be redeemed. No chain is too strong to be broken when met with the light of divine grace. Before we continue this journey of hope and transformation together, I invite you to pause and reflect on your own struggles. If this message resonates with you, even in the smallest way, I encourage you to like this video, subscribe to our community, and share it with anyone who might be searching for a path out of darkness. Your willingness to engage, share, and support one another is the very foundation of a community built on hope, compassion, and shared healing. Please, if you have experienced a moment of clarity amidst despair, or if you have battled a hidden struggle that you once thought insurmountable, leave a comment below. Tell us your story, ask for a prayer, or simply share a word of encouragement. In sharing our vulnerabilities, we build bridges of understanding and create a safe space where every soul is embraced and uplifted. Remember, no matter how deep the scars or how tangled the chains of past actions may seem, redemption is always within reach. The journey toward healing might be long and fraught with challenges, but every step forward is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the boundless love that awaits us all. The same transformative power that set me free is available to you, ready to turn your pain into purpose and your struggles into a powerful testimony of divine grace. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. May you find the strength to break free from whatever binds you, and may the infinite love and mercy of our Savior guide you to a life filled with peace, purpose, and hope.